Hello and welcome to my channel. What do I have for you today? It's about how to make and put together the granny square bags that I showed you in one of my previous videos. One of these bags that I use as project bags. And it was requested, could I do a pattern? Okay. Could I show you how it's done? So we have said pattern. It looks complicated, that it is not. It's just that I explain things in detail. Now what I'm going to suggest is that you have a look in the box below and I'll leave my email address. If you'd like a PDF copy of that pattern, ping me an email, just say pattern please, and I'll ping you the pattern straight back. There you go. Simples. So what do we need? Well, we need some wool, clearly. We need, in this little one, a darning needle. You don't need all those, it's just that's where I keep my darning needles. In a little homemade needle pouch. Handy to have a pair of scissors and a hook. I use double knit wool, yarn, whatever you want to call it, but I use double knit because I like that. And the hook I use with it is a 3.5 millimetre. I know on the wool it will say use a 4, but I knit and crochet pretty loosely, so I go down a size and it works for me. So this is what we're going to need. We're going to need that equipment to get us 5 squares, because you're going to want 1 for the bottom and 4 for your sides. Yeah, does become clear as we go along. Trust me. Now for those of you that are not into granny squares, I thought I would just do a show on how to do granny squares. I'm sort of assuming that most of you know how to make them, because in the videos it was saying, oh, now I can make that for my granddaughter, or oh, now I can make them for Christmas. But just in case you don't, I'll do a small tutorial on this. Just a wool, finger, round the finger twice, back ring over, next ring over that and under the finger. Then take our hook, go in there, 1 slip knot, which is what the pattern says. Start with a slip knot. A lot of people work the other way round. They've got their wool that way, but I do mine that way. I do it like I was knitting. You know, if you're knitting, you've usually got the wool this way. Anyway, you get going however you hold the wool. So I'm going to do 3 chains, 2, 3, only small, just the 3. Then I'm going to do a slip stitch into the very first one, over, through. So I've now got a very diddy little circle. I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2, yarn over, because I want to go in. I'm picking up 2 there. I'm not on exactly the top one. I'm sort of heading for that middle to get a good middle. I'm going to do 2 DCs. My stitches are in American terms, not in the English terms. I don't know why, it's just why I've picked up doing my crocheting. So we now have 1 chain, 3 DCs, because that first chain 2 worked as your first stitch on the first 3. Let's get these in. We're getting there. 2, 3, another chain, because now I'm separating what will become my corners. I'm not doing this too slowly. Excuse me, I've been talking a lot. Not done this too slowly. Because as I said, those of you that know how to will be able to get through the squares. This is just in case you wanted a bit of a refresher, bit of a top up. Whoop. It's not caught that wall properly. Let's go back in there. There we go. I'm on my last 3 because I needed 4 3s in that first circle. 4 3s, and to go over we want 1 chain, and then I'm going to slip stitch in the very top of the first one, pull it through, and I'm joined. Pull your middle thread so you've got your circle and you've got 4 sets of 3. Now we get on to the next row. Turning. While I was working, that would be still going that way. But I find it easier to turn it around. Then I've got a better hole to go into. So, 2 chains, which makes my first stitch. And I'm going to do 2 DCs. Because it's a corner, I'm going to do a chain. And I'm going to do 3 DCs in that same gap, because this is where our corners come in now. Yeah, so don't suppose you can see this too clearly, but I'm just sort of trying to give you the gist of it rather than stitch by stitch telling you how to do a granny square. Now I've got to get over to there. Now this is where you don't put any chains in between your blocks unless it's a corner. You only put a chain, 1, in a corner between the 2 3s. It is written down. It does sound a bit Daffy Duck, but it'll become clear as you do it, I am sure. We've got our first 3. More wool. A chain because I'm in the corner. Here we go. Another 3. Talk amongst yourselves while I try and whip around this. Okay, you can see our corners coming now. No chain because we're jumping to a corner. So it's an in-between gap which don't need chains. I can get round quick enough for you just to show you how this is going. Doing another 3 in there. We did do chain 1. We're doing the next 3. Well, we will. The wool keeps up with me. There we go. Okay, no chain because we're just jumping to a corner. And we have our 4th corner now, our 4th set of 3, 1, 3. It's all laid out in the pattern. Oops. There we go. Now, we're nearly there on that bit. We've nearly completed our second row. No chain, but we're going to slip stitch to the other first one to make our square. I'm going to turn it so that you can see I'm now looking to go into a bigger hole. And from now on, what happens? You chain up your 2 on the in-between gaps of the square. Oops, you just do your 3 in that Yeah, you don't do any more. No chains. Go to your corner. Do your 3, 1, 3. Yeah. Oop, that's does help if you can get it in the hole. Anyway, this is how you make your granny squares. Now you can change colour. Once you get to your join, where you would slip stitch, you still do that with your same colour. Then instead of coming up and doing your 2 chains with the one you're using, the colour you're using, you'd introduce a new colour and you'd do the 2 chains in that and then go on your rounds on a square. Keep going around the square, but in your other colour. And then when you come to your join again, you can either keep to that colour or bring back another colour. I'll do a 3 in there, and then we'll call it a day on showing you, because you probably know this bit. But you can see, yeah, he's coming. Now, when I did mine, I did 12 times round my square, which meant I had 12 rows. It's just on here at the moment. So there's your circle. So it's 1, 2, I'm on the 3rd row. You do to 12, change any colours you want to, and you come up with one of those. You're going to knot in or sew in your bits of extra, but leave a bit so that you know which is the inside and which is the outside, or good side, bad side, whatever way you want to call it. Right, now we get to the bit that we're going to pin these together. We would if we had the pins here. Oh, there's some pins. It does help, doesn't it, to have pins near. Right. So we want our insides. Inside of that, I want an inside of my first side panel. I'm going to pin that one. Don't worry if it doesn't look like it's going to fit. Just stretch it a bit. It will go. Because you're using different wools, you see. Because that is like more of a chunky wool. So it expands it a bit more. But not so much that you can't join them. And what you're going to do, you have a bottom now and a side. You're going to stitch up that. Now I'm going to show you this one, the made one, so that you can see what I mean. You've got your 2 squares, and I've done single crochet to join them. And I've done the same on the bottom. So you're going to come up the 4 to make your 4 sides and round your bottom to attach it to that. You keep going that way, because once you've got that, you add your next square. Again, bottom side, insides out. Add that one, and add that one. And you end up with a box shape, hopefully. What do we do next? Well, we want to do our handles. So, once you've got them all sewn up and together, you've got your square, you're going to pick up with whatever colour you like, whatever wool you want, and you're going to go round again, round our square, round. I usually do about 3 rows to get it going. You can do it in single crochet, half double crochet, any stitch you want. You could even do it in shell stitch. Entirely up to you. Then, when I've got at least 3 rows up, I'll have a look at where my front panels are. So on this one, it's actually that's the front panel because I've got a pretty on it. I'll come in so far. I will chain 15 because I like the small handles. If you wanted a big handle, you just chain as many as you wanted and join yourself back up and go and do yourself the same on the back. That helps that they match. Then you're going to do another go round again, because now when you come round, you're going to pick up on the chain. So you're going to stitch on your chain now. You can make that as thick as you like. Because I usually put wool in here or material in here, I don't need them that heavy. So the small handle is fine for me. What's next, we say? Well, we've got our bag made, we've got our handles on. We need an inside. Material time. You're going to fold this way at the moment. Yeah, so you've got one big panel, you've got two halves, and you've got your top. Your material needs to fit just a bit wider than that and just a bit deeper than that. You know, up to here, because you're going to join it on here. So you get your material. You got like an oblongy bit. Sew up your sides, making sure you're doing this the right way round. It's easier to see it than to explain it, because obviously you want your join on that bit, on the inside to inside of bag. Oh, you can do across the corners if you like. Entirely up to you. Once you've got this in, which would be, you've made this, you're now going to join it in, you're going to turn over the top of the material and pin it. I usually pin it just above the edge of my square. You can add lace or not add lace, it's entirely up to you. And then I will machine that top round to make it nice and firm and stay safe. And you've got your material in. The extra bit, to stop the bag actually sagging, because sometimes if you don't sew a bit on the bottom which attaches the wool to the material, your wool can tend to sag. You don't want that happening. You don't want a saggy bottom. It's not nice. So you just attach this. It's tricky to get it in the machine because it's pretty gathered up. It will go, and you can make your attachment bit as small or as big as you like. You can go around the whole of the bottom square if you wanted to. Once you've done that, you have a lovely bag. And then, if you want to, you can add a pretty. How do I add a pretty? I have a tin. I always have a tin of pretties. You can get it open. And it has the basics in it. It has yo-yos, I think they're called. It has doilies. And it has beads. So, take your yo-yo, take your doily, take your bead, sew that together as one, and then get the bag with your pretty and just secure it on, sew it, just to tack it on a bit so it's not going anywhere. It's going to sit on your bag for you. How's that? I think we got there. This is the second video because the first one I forgot to mention the bit about the saggy bottom. Most important, nobody wants a saggy bottom, do they? There you go. So I hope this has made sense. Do leave me comments. I'm always up for comments if there's anything you'd like me to try and make and do a pattern on for you. Do email me for that pattern PDF. Easy peasy. Okay, so I shall say, give us a thumbs up, do subscribe, you never know what's coming. You stay safe, you take care, and I shall say bye bye for now.